Right, guys, we are looking at Learning Unit 3 now, which is strategic direction. Now, what I've tried to do is give some examples here. So I just wanted the front page to look nice of mission statements. And then I've also looked at some examples of vision statements. And it's quite interesting to see the different ones and whether they make sense in terms of the organization. So when I say the word vision to you, and it's not seeing a vision, when I say organizational vision to you, what does it mean? What in terms of what you do every day, does the organization's vision mean? Let me ask a different question then. What is your organization's vision? And don't look it up. Who can type their organization's vision without looking it up? Thinking of the future of the company. Very cool. Anyone else know their organizational vision? Guys, it's always quite be the best to be the best run regional government. Pretty cool, boy. Jeez. Yeah, Armand. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, but yeah, so I'm pretty sure there's no vision or mission statement. So I think you guys know how much I value my art. So please remember to treat my art as something very special. Um, and if you want to turn it into an NFT, please make sure that I share some the cash there. Guys, so if we look at where a vision sits in an organization, ideally your vision sits at the top. And I say ideally because there are some companies that still don't have some kind of vision. And in terms of a vision, for me, a vision is the overarching, the exciting, the sense of dream that the organization potentially wants to be. So for me, a vision does two things. It inspires employees and stakeholders to aspire to be great. And the simple truth is, those kind of definitions of a vision are important because when everything is insane and everyone is running around like headless chickens, and sorry, more people can't get on, and everyone is running around like headless chickens. The one thing that binds us together is our organizational vision, is the vision of the organization, that ambitious future the organization sees for itself. Now, that is our overarching strategic direction. It is a beacon in the distance towards which we gear all our intentions. Now, if we go here and we look at these visions, now, some of these companies, most of these companies, tell me which one of those visions would, as a stakeholder, inspire you quite a bit. Remember, it's the ambitious future. Oh gosh. Your vision is incorporated with your values. Um, I find that a little bit weird, actually. And again, we don't, as outsiders and as non-stakeholders judge other people's visions. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Tesla, what does Tesla say? Spread ideas. How brilliantly powerful is that? And if you know what TED is, you can clearly see why that makes sense. In terms of Tesla, yeah, an interesting one. It's clever. Let's be honest, it's clever. I don't drive a Tesla and I never will, but it is a clever, ambitious future, a clever dream future. Others there, guys? Quite like Uber, guys. I quite dig Uber as well. But these are pretty impressive. Um, have a glance at some of those. Oxfam, I quite like that. A just world without poverty. For me, that is powerful. Very far in the distance, but what they stand for and what they try and achieve. So the idea of a vision is to create this powerful, ambitious future. It's the dream future for an organization. It's when we sit and in the organization and think about what we can achieve in our wildest imaginations. That is what our vision should be. It is that inspirational thing that people would try to aspire to achieve. From there, we always go to our mission statement. Now, our mission statement is the purpose of an organization. It'll always talk about our customers, the products and services we provide, and then obviously also the technology that we use. From there, we go to our long-term objectives. Sorry, this is really shoddy. My apologies. I write with the mouse. Maybe this is interpretive art, guys. Right. The modern thinking in terms of these long-term objectives is that they are linked to four core elements, the elements linked to the balanced scorecard. Can anyone remember what the balanced scorecard elements are? Blank, no problem. Bloody hell, I write awful with this bloody mouse. Oh shit. Shucks. Okay, yeah. I need to find a better way of doing this because this is shocking. Honestly, a 5-year-old could do better. Hold on a second. I'm just going to cheat. Yeah. So if we look at this, at the top, we'll always have our vision. Our vision would be supported by a mission statement. Our mission statement would be supported by long-term objectives. I can't even type fast, and the last set of objectives. And remember, guys, these objectives are the balanced scorecard ones. And I'm not going to try and type it out. You can write it now, type it out. Type it out. So in terms of those long-term objectives, we will always have objectives that relate to finance. So we'll always have objectives related to finance. Those finance objectives would be the kind of things that our shareholders would be interested in. So return on equity, profitability, those kinds of finance margins that we normally talk about. Um, So the first one is always going to be finance, your finance objectives. The second one are those objectives that relate to customer. And those are the customer return figures, overall customer satisfaction ratings, the kind of tangibles that tell us because we have great customers now, we will have great relationships and we'll have more customers in the future. And then the next one is internal business processes. And those internal business processes are those systems and procedures that promote productivity in the organization. And then lastly, it's learning and growth. Now, learning and growth are those that relate to human capital development. So you'll generally have in South Africa definitely objectives that relate to things like transformation, um, affirmative action, employment equity, but you'll also have objectives that relate to building talent in the organization. So here we look backwards, guys. Essentially, we look at how we've done. These buggers here are forward looking, because if we have great customer measures and great customer relationships now, and we'll have great customer relationships and great levels of returning customers in the future. And here, these internal business processes, they're about efficiency, they're about productivity, they're about capability. So if you think back to the very first lecture, we said that resources are important, but capabilities allow us to maximize what we can get out of our resources. And here we look at our people element. Guys, generally from there, and I've done it slightly in the wrong order, but the thing that takes us there is always going to be your SWOT analysis. And then in terms of the last bit, if we place the organization over here, basically we then create our strategies. Now, our strategies are the things that take us to our long-term objectives. So your long-term objectives are the endpoints for your strategies, and we'll discuss all of these. In terms of those long-term objectives, the reality is that you'll have objectives that relate to finance and profitability and return on equity and those kinds of things, and so forth. But it's great to have objectives. The strategies that take you there, guys, the strategies that take you there are the things that essentially give you the road to travel to get to those long-term objectives. Guys, the one thing I needed to add in, and I've done it a little bit dodge here and I forgot about it, my apologies, would be your value statement. So your value statement is that bit that tells our key stakeholders how we intend to look after their interests, what we believe our employees to be, and and so forth, what we believe our relationship with the shareholders are, what we think of our customers, what we see as our responsibility to communities, to the natural environment, and that set of values included in your value statements. Right. So if we then look, we've looked over there at vision. Let's have a glance at some of the mission statements. Right. So yeah, I've chosen ones that you guys are aware of. Um, which one here can you identify most with? Remember, your mission statement tells us about the organization PayPal. Very cool, actually, Gaston. That is a lacquer one, actually. Who knows what Tumblr is? Who knows what Tumblr is? Yeah, Tumblr. It, it's it's it, it's more than it's really about stumbling. It essentially you would feed in what your preferences are, and you'll click on the sites that they open, and you will stumble to the next. You will constantly come around get sites that link to that one. It is a wonderful, wonderful app to have. I've got no, not a dating app. But the simple truth is, mind you, the way you go through women, maybe it is. The simple truth is that I had this for a long time and I've taken it off because you get lost in it. because it's so good at reading the algorithm and predicting. So Tumblr is quite interesting. It allows creators access to the audience. So different sites and different creations essentially get rated by Tumblr, and those that people see and spend more time on would move to the top of the list. I don't know some of them. Who here is on LinkedIn? Yeah. Is LinkedIn worth what it is? Yeah, I'm also on there, but I don't get the value of LinkedIn. So I am honestly the wrong person to ask about LinkedIn. Who uses LinkedIn quite a lot? You have one friend. Well, it's one more than in real life, Nathan. How horrible is that? Yeah. Okay. What benefit do you get from being on LinkedIn? I've been on it since day one. That's Gaston. Gaston doesn't have friends. He has people who want to beat him up. Okay, so you go for job alerts. It landed you your job. Very impressive. But you see, I've not embraced it, but I think there's a massive generational difference. I'm about 3 generations ahead of you. So, Amant, you believe in it.
I won't say I believe in it, but it's a good scouting place to see all the different types of jobs and then also the type of skills in a certain job category, if I can say it like that, if it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but 100%. Well, it's also a place for learning. I quite like Chrissy's uh, um, assessment of it. It's a great bit to look at and across industries. Gab, you use it for marketing, and I'm useless. I am on LinkedIn, but honestly, I don't know what I'm going to find on my LinkedIn profile. So this might be as dodgy as hell. Let's just see if I am going to log into it. It's been so long. Oh, there. Look at this. My genuchtig. Yeah, I've got a couple of friends. I don't know how many. I never, ever spend time on here, but it looks impressive. And yeah, I quite like that. So, yeah, my proclivities, boy, I need to make money. Old age is catching up. Guys, and then others there. Alibaba, yeah, Alibaba is a platform. It's similar to Takealot, similar to Amazon. Yeah, it allows people to do business. Anyone ever order? Yeah, it's similar to Wish, the Wish of Amazon. Yeah, very similar to Wish. I had a friend who, and he was in IT here. He was very bright, and he ordered a Persian carpet from them. He looked at the picture, he loved the picture, and the Persian carpet arrived, and the picture was 1 to 1. So he bought a Persian carpet the size of, I suppose, a small, of half a laptop. Um, yeah, Timu as well. So he bought a Persian carpet, which he thought was the deal of the century. Unfortunately, it was the size of a half a laptop. It's just, oh, so stupid. He looked at the picture, he liked it. He didn't see that the scale was 1 to 1. Um, guys, others, sorry about that. I love this page. Any of those? Can you see the difference between a vision and a mission? A lovely mouse pad. Yeah. Oh, so true. So mind you, this is the same guy who received an email and PayPal asked him to update his login details because he had been hacked, and he went forward and he did it, and somebody stole from his PayPal. So some people are stupid. Okay. Um, immediately when we look at mission statements, we see it more specific, we see it describing the organization, we see that it will talk about the products and the services, etc. The one thing we know about a mission statement is that you don't tell people I sell cars, you tell people I sell opportunities to explore the world. It's that kind of thing, what this particular absolutely, Sandra. You know, the one thing I facilitate strategic plans. I haven't done one in a long, long time for organizations. You know, it's not my vision. It's not my mission statement. So I often let people go. And you know, if there's a connect, it's great. But you want your vision. The one thing I know to be way more ambitious than what you have in here. You know, it has to be way more. So you have to be very careful about that link. I don't like a mission statement with a vision, but it shows the link. It shows the strategic link. But the truth, though, is that it is what the company wants. It must work for them. Yeah, and others. I'm not going to go through it. I quite like this page. So to get to this, so when we talk about strategic direction, it really is what the executive managers ultimately decide the future and where the future of the organization will lie. Now, in terms of the strategic direction, there are different approaches, and strategic intent is this idea of winning all the time. It's the idea of winning at all costs. Every decision, every resource we allocate is about winning. It's about being the best in the industry. Now, that kind of notion comes from Japanese firms. And this is a company, please tell me that I didn't lose it now. Oh gosh, hold on a second. I did have it. Yeah. And Komatsu, guys. Komatsu is a typical Japanese firm that has strategic intent. And they live out that strategic intent in terms of supporting Williams Racing. It's very clever. Everything they do is about winning. Everything they do is about beating the competitors. Every time they take a decision, it's like getting into the WWE ring with their competitors and seeing who is going to win the cage match. Now, it is quite interesting, but you want to see the kind of terminology that they use in terms of how they describe themselves. Uh, I quite like this. Hold on a second. Company about genigtig. Okay, so here it is. What they're about. That to me is quite interesting. It is their set of values. And the first one, and it talks about the intention of winning at all costs. Their first one is ambition. And it's that bit that often personifies what a company that has a strategic intent will stand for. Challenging spirit without fear of favor or fear of failure. And the intention is about winning. It's about being the best. It's about being the number one in an industry. And you can see some other stuff that is there. Very, very clever organization in terms of that. Oh my goodness me. And then, yeah, okay. What is interesting, and it comes to the stuff that we've been talking about in terms of sustainability, their emphasis on sustainability. They, Gaston, what do you guys, what is, are you, I won't ask you, but interesting though, in terms of the focus here, it gives the same impression as, as the Woolworths website. It is about inclusivity. It's about society. It's about the future generations. It's about quality of life in terms of employees. It is about governance. Very, very clever. So everything they do is about being the best. And to be the best, you have to look after all your stakeholders. I'm trying to rush. It's not good when I rush. Guys, from there, we look at our vision, our ambitious future, the mission statement, what the organization stands for, and our values. And the values essentially are how we intend to look after each of our stakeholders of our stakeholders' interests. When I do this for organizations, I we write vision and mission, and then we normally start talking about values. And I always leave this slide on the board and watch how people react. Now, this is over 100 years old. It is from Gandhi. But for me, what these values or these statements about what the deadly sins are in the world are a very good indication of what we should avoid. Where, I don't know, have we discussed this in class already, guys? I lecture a heck of a lot, sorry. Have we seen this before? Okay. So where do we see wealth without work still happening? Where do we see wealth without work? Come on, guys. Yeah, I was going to say tenderpreneurs. Isn't a tenderpreneur that one there? Pleasure without conscience? Yeah, you see, I'm going to get controversial now. I'm going to stop.